now that we have the parser, we basically are going to create a prompt template. We're going to do some interpolation and things like that, but we're not going to do it ourselves because, come on now, we're not going to do that. LangChain has a bunch of stuff that we can use to create that, specifically something called a prompt template. So we're going to use a prompt template, and we're going to give it a guiding prompt, and then we're going to mix that in with the schema that we just created, and then that way we'll get back the full prompt that we want to use, combined with the actual journal entry as well. So that's what we're going to do. So we just need to bring in the prompt template from LangChain, and we can get started with that. So I'm just going to make a function down here that says get prompt like this. And all get prompt is going to do is just take in like some content from a journal entry. And then we can import prompt from, let me see if I can figure this import out without looking. Prompts, maybe it's just prompts. It is. Yeah, so it's just prompts. So then we want to get prompt template from LangChain/prompts. So the first thing we want to do is we kind of want to parse this Zod schema that we created, or I should say format it. And I'm just going to say const formatted instructions equals the parser that we just created. And then you can say get format instructions. If you were to log this, it's basically taking this entire schema and doing the equivalent of what I did here. And we'll log it so you can see. But that's basically, and you'll see just how much better it is at doing it than what I did. And you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. Because that's all it's doing is just creating that for us, so we don't have to do it. Okay, we got that. And then the next thing we want to do here, as you can see, we just want to make this prompt template. There's 3 things that go into a prompt template. The actual template, so this is like the steering instructions of like, this is what you are, are the instructions. And then we have like input variables for interpolation. This will be the entry. And then any like partial variables, which would be our format instructions. So let's do that. So we'll say prompt equals a new prompt template like this. Oops. And oh yeah, template. So in this template, I'm just going to copy the one that I had because I actually had to do a lot of trial and error to get this template to be good. So I highly recommend you copying this one too. And I'll copy and then I'll read it so you can see why I did it this way. So this one is basically what I'm saying here. I think it's just freaking out because of TypeScript. Yeah, okay. So the template that I have here is I'm saying analyze the following journal entry, follow the instructions, and format your response to match the format instructions, no matter what. And I'm screaming at it. And then on the new line, I'm going to interpolate the formatted instructions, which are going to be this. Actually, I'll just change the name of that to format instructions. And then the actual content, the entry itself, the journal entry. So we're just going to put that in there. Yes.
2 things. Line 30, the word instructions has a typo there at the end, kind of at the end of line 30. Oh, sorry, the first part of line 30. Follow the instructions and format.
Oh yeah, right here. Oh yeah. So this is a good time to talk about that. So yes, probably want to fix that. Also, the AI does a really good job of like correcting your grammar for you. Like, so you could do typos. It'll probably understand it, but if you do too many typos, it probably will affect the output. But yes, thank you.
And then line 20, kind of the same deal. There's a hexadecimal color code that represents, but
yeah,
as you said, probably would have been fixed.
Yep. Thank you. Cool. Any questions on this so far?
The no matter what, like in your background, have you played around with alternates and like that is the best way to get it to do the thing? Or is that, that's the one?
That's the one.
Nice.
That's a pro tip right there. Remember that. Put that at the end of all your prompts, no matter what. Or you're fired, right? and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. And then you feel bad. Cool. And then we have input variables. In this case, it'll just be entry. And we'll interpolate that later. And then we have partial variables, which in this case will be, it'll be an object with the format instructions. So it just needs to be the same name as you have here. So I have format instructions, so I'm going to put format instructions. So we're interpolating this. We're interpolating the partial variables now. We'll interpolate the entry variable later. Okay. And then from there, we're actually going to call the format, which is asynchronous. And this is where we actually interpolate the entry. And then we'll get back our actual prompt, and then we'll log it in, and then we'll check it out. So I'm just going to call this the input. And I'm just going to await the prompt dot format like this. Make this async at the top. And then from here, I'm just going to say entry, because that's what we have for our interpolation. If I can type, there we go. And then content's going to go here. And let's return the input, but I'll log it first. There we go. And then for analyze, instead of taking in a prompt, we'll actually take in like, some content from an entry now. We'll just take in the entry itself, and then we'll create a new prompt. So we'll say input equals await get prompt, and it just takes in that content like so. And then I'll pass in the input here.